What does real estate investing have in common with producing a track? Well, a lot more than you think. Because every type of property, multifamily, retail, industrial, hospitality, it plays a different role, just like every instrument in a song. So today, I'm going to be walking you through the story of an investor who built his portfolio like a beat and why it matters if you want your wealth to stay in rhythm. This is John. He starts his journey with a multifamily property, steady rent that hums like a Rhodes keyboard in the background. It's not flashy, but it gives him consistency month after month. At the same time, he takes on a rehab and flip project, sharp and risky like a snare drum crackling through the beat. The Rhodes, it represents stability. The snare represents hustle. One plays slow and smooth, and the other plays fast and loud. And together, they create his first rhythm. Income he can rely on, plus profits he can chase. It's the foundation of his portfolio, the first layer of his song. But once the rhythm feels steady, John starts to think about adding weight to his sound. Now John knows he needs more than just rhythm. He needs a heartbeat. So he invests in industrial property, warehouses, and distribution centers with long-term tenants. And that's when the kick drum and percussion comes in, steady and grounding. The kick, it changes the whole feel of the track. Deep, dependable, unshakable. Now the mix is stronger. Rhodes, they still hum. Snares, they still crack. But the kick, it anchors everything. Industrial isn't just flashy, but it smooths out the ups and downs. And with this addition, John finally feels that his portfolio has weight and structure, a rhythm that he can trust. And once he's built that backbone, John has the confidence to start layering in new sounds. With a strong base in place, John starts to add depth. He buys retail space, which drops into the beat as a baseline synth, heavy and tied to consumer spending. And when shoppers show up, the baseline is strong. When they don't, it fades away. And at the same time, he tries office space, the hi-hats and perks that are cutting sharp in the background. They add texture and energy, but they can fall silent if vacancies hit. Now, this track feels bigger. Rhodes, snare, kick, baseline, hi-hats. It's layered and ambitious, but harder to balance. And this is where John learns that complexity brings opportunity and risk. And with that complexity, John feels bold enough to go after the flashiest instruments of all. Then John aims higher. He buys a hotel, bright and exciting like a lead synth soaring through the mix. And he funds development projects marked by cowbells, ringing with potential but unpredictable. And he joins a real estate syndication, the smooth background piano he doesn't control but benefits from. The sound is big, visionary, and full of energy. But notice, the Rhodes, snare, and the kick, they're all gone. And without them, the track feels less stable. This stage, it's exciting, but risky. John is chasing flair and learning what happens when you lose the foundation. But markets always cycle, and when the flashy sounds fade, it's the core that carries him forward. Then the cycle shifts. The hotel lead fades, retail weakens, office drops out, cowbells stop, and even the syndication piano goes quiet. But then the core comes back. The Rhodes from multifamily, the snare from flips, and the kick from industrial. It's not as flashy, but the rhythm is alive again. This stripped-down beat shows John what truly matters. Through downturns, the foundation is what carries him forward. The lesson is clear. If you can't hear the core, the track won't last. And once the dust settles, John doesn't give up. He rebuilds, but this time with more discipline. After the dip, John rebuilds smarter. The retail baseline returns, steady but controlled, and cowbells from development start ringing again, marking new growth. And the piano from syndications, they glide back in, adding smoothness and balance. And the Rhodes, snare, and kick, they never left this time. His foundation is solid. Now what's missing is the flashy hotel lead, and that's by choice. John is focused on growth with discipline, expansion without losing stability, and the result is a track that's full, balanced, and wiser than before. And with that stronger foundation, John's ready for the moment when everything comes together. Now John reaches the peak of his journey. Every instrument comes in. Rhodes, snare, kick, bass line, hi-hats, lead synth, cowbells, and piano. And for the first time, an electric guitar solo cuts through. That's the reeds, which give John market exposure and scale. Now this is the climax of his portfolio, which is the full drop. Every asset plays together, no piece is missing. From a small start with just Rhodes and a snare, John has built a full symphony of real estate. It's powerful, it's diversified, and it's the sound of true growth. And as every song does, eventually this one resolves. As the track fades, some instruments step back, retail quiets, development softens, and the hotel lead disappears, but the Rhodes still hums, and the snare still cracks, the kick still thumps, and the piano glides, and the reed guitar sustains. The flashy notes end, but the foundation and scale remain. This is the resolution. Steady, cash flowing, and built to last. Now every investor's track sounds different, and I'd love to hear yours. Which instrument from John's journey do you think is the strongest foundation? Comment it down below, and if you want more breakdowns like this, subscribe and join me as we keep building the beat of financial freedom together.